Argentina have actually named a pretty stacked squad to play the All Blacks tomorrow, and I want to break it down. Yesterday, the All Blacks released their squad. I want to give you guys a match preview. I want to hear what your thoughts and predictions are for this game. Please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's get into it. Now, like I say, Argentina have actually pulled out all the stops here. They are going for broke. They want to put the fight to the All Blacks, and they've actually done a pretty good job of it. Looking at the squad, looking at what they have available to them, this is by no means a joke. They are actually coming out really strong, and I think they could put a bit of a number on the All Blacks if they are not careful. I do still feel the All Blacks team is ridiculous, but the Argentinians do have the likes of Juan Cruz Malia. They do have the likes of Chocobares, who play for Toulouse. They have Julia Montoya. They have players like Pablo Matera, Marcus Kremer. They got Joaquin Oviedo. They got Bautista Delgay or Delgui. He wreaked havoc, absolute havoc. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out. It does look like they want to come and they are going to try and be physical with the All Blacks, which I think is going to go wrong. But when you do have players like Albornoz and Gonzalo Garcia at your disposal, you can definitely work. You know, you can definitely work quite a good, ball to hand, you know, kind of trying to run with the ball. They have a lot of pace. They got the likes of Rodrigo Isgro. They have the likes of Sinti, which is also very nice to have. But they also have the likes of that Bautista Del Goy, who is rapid. So they've got a lot of pace to burn. Whether they're going to have that defensive structure to keep out the All Blacks, I highly doubt it. But, looking at Meiko Vivas, Julian Montoya, Pedro Delgado, they mean business. They mean business. I mean, just in general, they're tight five with Vivas, Montoya, Delgado, Molina, and Pedro Rubiolo. They've got a lot of strength here. They can work quite a lot. Whether it's going to do any damage to the likes of Ethan de Groot, I don't know. Honestly, they have the quality, but are they a better team than the All Blacks? No. Are they more well drilled than the All Blacks? No. Have they got a lot of individual talent? Yes, they do. And the one thing that Argentina have is, I don't know how to explain it. They just have like that old school kind of aggression. They've got these old school players that are just, they in your face. They don't care if they get trampled on, you know, jaw broken. They just want to get back into it. They don't care. They'll happily start up a fight. They'll get down and dirty. They will fight. They have that passion. They really have that passion, which is lovely to see. And this is one of the things that is really helping Argentinian rugby to grow and to become more successful. And you are seeing players like Juan Cruz Malia coming through the doors, which is very, it's very promising, because you get to see players like Malia, like Chocobares, who are playing at top. They're playing for Toulouse in the French league, playing with some of the best players in world rugby. They are only going to get better from having that kind of exposure. Julian Montoya, who plays in England, amazing. I think Julian Montoya, he's actually left now. But it's that exposure, the exposure to elite level talent, high level talent, whether it's playing just playing in Europe, really does help their game and helps them become better players individually. So when they go to Argentina, they're not only bringing their experience, they are bringing their tactical mind, because now you are getting bits from France, you're getting bits from England, you're getting tactical advice here. This team likes to play like this team likes to play like this. You get a bit of intel from the players. You pick up a little, you pick up little tricks. You pick up a couple of little training regimes of what the French do, what Toulouse do, what Bordeaux do, what Newcastle do, what Leicester do, maybe what the Saints do. You get all of these different influences that ultimately end up helping Argentina grow, right? But then having players like your Julian Montoya, who's so experienced, he's such a good leader, and obviously he is going to be captaining the side. It's lovely to see, and quality like this is only going to rub off on the younger players, on the up and coming players, and that's going to help them grow, which is lovely to see, and which is why Argentina are making such strides in world rugby. I mean, you look at the likes of Lucio Cinti. The guy is phenomenal. He is absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. And it's like I say, it's these little bits, these little sparks that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, we are going to start seeing more and more and more, and they're going to become much better. You're probably going to end up seeing more rugby schools opening, and a lot more rugby opportunity opening in Argentina. Obviously, football is dominant throughout, but Argentinian rugby is growing like it's never done before, and it's actually really, really good because that kind of style that they have is fantastic to watch. But when it's put up against the likes of the All Blacks, yeah, it's got a lot of work, but it's very, very promising, and I cannot wait to see this Argentina side in the next 5 years. That is going to be scary. The physical prowess that they have, and then they're going to be blooding in a couple, a couple other players is going to be absolutely brilliant. So let's break down the squad. Got Mako Vivas, Montoya, Delgado, Molina, and then Pedro Robiolo. Brilliant tight five. I'm loving that. They've got the strength. I think they will put up a pretty physical fight up against up against the All Blacks. Physically, I think they are going to be on par. Tactically, mentally, experience wise, is where the All Blacks are going to destroy them. Because yes, they are all brilliant and they got a lot of experience. But in terms of quality, I feel the All Blacks just have that extra little step above them. And we will ultimately end up seeing, I think, the All Blacks dominate, even though the Argentinians are so strong in terms of their forwards. Um, you have the likes of Pablo Matera, Marcos Crema, and then Joaquin Oviedo. Oviedo is coming in at 8, Marcos Crema at 7, and then Pablo Matera at 6. Matera is a bulldog. You don't want to be touching this guy. So what you're going to find is in every single kind of section of the squad, they have these core players, these players that build the squad, that bring that intensity, that show everybody what it means to play for Argentina in rugby. And Pablo Matera, he's one of those players that you look up to, you look forward to watching, because he's going to be putting on a good show. He's going to be going all out. He's going to be giving 100% on every single tackle, on every single clean out. He's going to be there. He's going to be fighting for that jersey. He's going to fight for what it means to play for Argentina. So I cannot wait to see this guy play. Same thing with Marcos Crema. They are going to fight. They are going to fight. They have Gonzalo Garcia and then Thomas Albornoz at 9 and 10. The wingers are Bautista Del Goy, 14, Rodrigo Isgro. Now, Isgro he is he's a nightmare to handle. And I think the Lions kind of felt that. The Lions felt that because, he was everywhere. They really, really struggled to keep him pinned down. And honestly, when you add in the likes of Malia, um, you add in the likes of Chocobares, Delgoy, the speedster from France, and you see it like a lot of these backs for Argentina happen to play in France. You know, um, there's elite level rugby in France. Elite level, what's the word for it? Elite level exposure, right? playing week in, week out with and against some of the best players in world rugby, yeah, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. And like I say, if if they are not careful, Argentina can put points here. Argentina are going to come out straight out the gates, and having the likes of Rubiola and Molina um, back, this lock pairing, I think they can do a lot of damage there. Actually, they are actually really, really good. So it's going to be interesting to see how well they put up against the likes of Barrett and Holland. But I think what I'm most looking forward to is going to be at the breakdown, where we are going to be seeing Oviedo, Kremer, and then Matera fighting tooth and nail for every single ball. They got to keep their heads straight. They got to keep, focused, because you give the All Blacks a second and they will happily do one. They will happily run that ball straight through you. And then even then, you give Bowden Barrett a little sniff of a chance, and he's going to take it. He is really, really going to take it. And then you just have everybody else around him who is just as scary, whether it's Reiko Ioane, whether it's Jordy Barrett, whether it's Adi Savea or Tupo Vai. They are going to be making the most out of everything. They've got a lot of strength. They've got a lot of experience in their squad. So the Argentinians, to get anything out of this game, they are going to need to be at their absolute best for the entire 80 minutes. Because, like I say, when the All Blacks get going, once they start getting that rhythm in, once their phases start to get to like that 5, 6, 7, they're working that ball, they're taking you back. You're going to start seeing Artie Surveyor start making those brilliant, brilliant tackles. You're going to start to see Tupo Vai start to come in with those big tackles, and you're going to start to see Bowden Barrett just working his magic, popping that ball, boom, 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 boom. Little kick here, little round the back pass, little skip passes. You're going to be seeing Reiko Ioane breaking in those lines, using those inside channels. You know, it's going to be scary. And then having Sevu Reese as well, that's going to be exceptional as well. It's going to be lovely to see. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured. I want to see a lot more of Sevu Reese. And I think he's going to be one of those players that I think Razor is going to want to be having fit for the South Africa games. So this is definitely a good game to get everybody going, to get that rhythm flowing. They had a pretty good tour with France. They Razor got to use a lot of different combinations. He got to see some stand-up performers in terms of Duplessis Karifi, in terms of Fabian Holland. But yeah, Argentina, they've actually got a lot of quality here. Do I think they are going to win? No. I think they are going to be strong for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, they're going to hold their ground. After that, I do feel the All Blacks will rally together. You're going to start to see Bowden Barrett get into the game. You're going to start to see Scott Barrett get into the game. And then Fabian Holland, he's going to start making in those ridiculous tackles, making himself an absolute nuisance, an absolute, absolute nuisance. And then just working that ball, working that ball, working that ball. Cortez Ratima coming, speeding the game up, slowing it down when needed, you know, providing those assists. And then I think Billy Proctor is actually gonna have a pretty solid game up against the Argentinians. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna be playing out. But I do feel Argentina's squad is very underrated. They've got a lot to learn. They've got a lot to grow. And this Argentina side in the next 5 years is going to be even more scary than what they are now, especially with the progress that they've been making. A lot of the talent that's coming through, a lot of the talent that plays abroad, that plays in Europe, is definitely helping. Is definitely helping their cause. Whether they're playing in England, whether they're playing in France, or wherever they're playing, putting yourself in with the best players in world rugby is only going to help you. It is exposure. This is something that I feel the Aussies would benefit from greatly. And I think they've kind of taken note of that. and started to make the necessary adjustments. You look at South Africa, they play their players everywhere. You have Archie Snyman in Ireland. You have Cheslin Colby, Peter Steftotoit in Japan. You have Iabenatsabet Siokalisi in um, in South Africa playing for the Sharks. Obviously, they are in the URC, but then you have like players like Thomas du Toit playing for I think it's Bath. I forget now. Yeah, I think he plays for Bath. You had Warren Augustus who was playing for the Saints. He's now moved to Ulster, I believe. But it's that exposure. It's that exposure. Players like Chocobares, players like Malia are only improving when you practice every single day with the likes of Antoine Dupont, Tomo Ramos. You can't tell me that Malia is not learning from Ramos. Just being next to him, being in the presence of him, you know, it just is. So Argentina are making themselves a force to be reckoned with, and I think it's going to be scary. But I want to hear what your thoughts are because do you think that this squad can hold an entire 80 minutes with the All Blacks? Personally, I don't. And I feel the All Blacks are going to end up winning by 20 points. 20 points. I cannot see the Argentinians getting more than 20 points over the All Blacks, but I do feel they are probably going to get around 15 points on the board, and then the All Blacks to get at least 35. I think they are going to be banging in a couple of tries. I do see Jordy Barrett getting himself a try. I do see Will Jordan getting him on the scoreboard at least once, if not twice. And yeah, potentially even Artie Surveyor banging himself a try. So I'm going 35-15 to the All Blacks. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And I'll see you guys after the game tomorrow. Bye.